shot coming around.
What is this?
And basically the entire...
This is a tornado forming.
You can see the entire thing going up.
This thing goes crazy. And then after this tornado actually goes away. What is this doing?
But pretty amazing shot as that looks in. Can you still see, Josh? Looks like it maybe trying to rope out just a little bit.
And then he walks in front of it.
Almost all the way to the ground, though. And look, it's starting to twist there just a little bit.
What is it?
Picked up on the ground, Josh, are you?
It's literally moving towards the tornado.
No,
Honey, it's moving towards the tornado.
It's amazing that it can come down that far. But
I'm watching this white spot. There's this white spot right here. That it's a part of it, and it's slowly getting closer. It's about to hit the tornado.
There could be...
No, it's right there. That white spot. It's literally just got into it. Look.
What's happening is you're now getting the rain and the cooler air.
There's like two of
choke this off. See this in the mid layers?
Yes.
Starting to choke off just a little bit.
Oh.
So looks like that we could be on a weakening phase. We may be cycling again. And in about 10, 15 minutes, it may try to do this again.
And it does.
Again, this is northeastern parts.
But whatever this is,
as it works its way
broke all of this apart. Was this like a cold air current? Like what the heck?
Parasites are demons. I'm gonna prove it.
Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushua, Bahasham, Hakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, Rule Web, and the great example to his younger brothers in the truth. And peace and blessing to the hopeful elect. And this the book of Psalms, chapter 104. I'm getting straight into it. This book of Psalms, chapter 104, and verse 1. It reads, blessed the Lord, Yahweh, O my soul, O Yahweh, my power. Thou art very great. Thou art clothed with honor and majesty, who coverest thyself with light as with a garment, who stretcheth out the heavens like a curtain, who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters, who maketh the clouds his chariots, who walketh upon the wings of the wind. You know, and that's the point. The Lord maketh the clouds his chariots, and the chariots can disguise themselves ultimately. You know, they can look like, and what you can clearly see in that video, the clouds, the chariots of the Lord in the day and age we living in, they almost like, you know, what it is, surprise guests on the news now. They got orbs and stuff always popping up when something popping off in different parts of the planet. They trying to report on it. And they got the live feed going, the chariot to pop up just like that hurricane that was dropping. And a chariot was in the way and made it break up, you know, because the Lord is showing new signs in the earth. The Lord is revealing himself more and more, whether we do it or not, the Lord gonna have his elect do it, you know, push this word and push that righteous vibration in the earth. The end is coming quicker. The truth is you can't fight the truth, you know. What the Lord doing is making what we saying more and more evident to these people of the earth now. So-called UFOs is a common talk in the earth, you know. Now people are considering it's a such thing as so-called aliens, but we know it ain't aliens. They are the angels. And then you got a lot of people coming to the conclusion that it's the angels. Because when the scripture's speaking about clouds, a lot of times that's what it's talking about, the chariots of the Lord. And this is a perfect example of the Lord making the clouds as chariot. I mean, the chariot, as we say, the chariots can disguise themselves. You can think you looking at a cloud, a thunderstorm going on or something, and you see the clouds up there, then a chariot could be sitting right there disguised as well. Just like you see on that clip in the beginning. But let's keep going through the precepts showing you that when the scriptures speak about clouds, it's talking about the chariots. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 34, and verse 5. It say, in the Lord. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 34, and verse 5, going into the clouds. It say, And the Lord descended in the cloud and stood with him there, and proclaimed the name of Yahweh. And the Lord passed by before him, and proclaimed the Lord Yahweh power, merciful and gracious, long suffering and abundant in goodness and in truth, and keepeth his mercy for thousands, forgiving iniquities and transgressions and sins, and will by no means clear the guilty, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon their children, upon their children, upon their children's children, until the third and fourth generation. Let me see what's above that. And this one, Moses. Let's read it from the top, because this was the account when Moses broke the tablets. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 34, and verse 1. To say, and the Lord said unto Moses, hew thee 2 tablets of stone like unto the first, and I will write upon these tablets the words that were in the first tablet that thou breakest, and be ready in the morning, and come up in the morning unto Mount Sinai, which Apostle Paul said he believed that, it's an actual chariot, because it's no, it ain't no archaeology find what Mount Sinai is, It say and present thyself there to me in the top of the mountain. It say, and no man shall come up with thee, neither. And the scriptures compare the chariots to mountains all the time. Go in the book of 2nd Esdras. Well, he say he looked to see what a mountain was, what part of the earth that the mountain came up from. Showing that, hey, the Lord can be talking about that great fathership, and he'll compare that to a mountain. Where the stone was carved. Matter of fact, let's go get that. Let's get it right here. Let me get that real quick. Straight to the point. I knew something went right. Just straight to the point. This the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 13 and verse 6. It say, but I beheld, and lo, he had graven himself a great mountain, and flew up upon it. But I would have seen the region or place where out the hill was graven, and I could not. So that fathership in the end times, that this vision that Israel was being showed, that fathership was compared into a great mountain. You know, verse 6, I'm going to read it again and say, but I beheld, and lo, he had graven himself a great mountain and flew upon it. Mount Sinai, you know. Back in this, it say, and be ready in the morning, and come up in the morning unto Mount Sinai, and present thyself there to me in the top of the mountain. And no man shall come up with thee, neither let any man be seen throughout all the mount. Throughout all the mount, neither let the flock nor herd feed before the mount. Verse 4, it say, and he hewed 2 tables of stone like unto the first, and Moses rose up early in the morning and went up unto Mount Sinai as the Lord commanded him. And he took in his hand the 2 tablets of stone, and the Lord descended in a cloud and stood with him there, and you know, that cloud was a chariot, and proclaimed the name of Yahweh. You know, and that's pretty much the point. If, you know, regular rain clouds don't just ascend and descend and like they moving. No, that's the Lord talking about chariots, man. Just like when the star moved upon the Lord. It ain't talking about an actual, you know, Mars. You know, Mars shifted over on, no, man, in outer space. No, these are chariots, because the chariots come as little oars. The scriptures also speak about that when we was leaving out of Egypt. They say the Lord was a fire by day and a cloud, the pillar, a cloud by day and a fire by night. It was speaking about the chariot, man. The chariots were leading us, keeping us for a shade, for like having us shadow in that desert, walking through the wilderness, and being a light in that darkness during the nighttime. You know, so the Lord was with us when we was coming out of Egypt. You know, and it say that the cloud by day and the fire by night didn't depart from us. You know. I'll keep going. I have a few precepts. Just precepts. I got this because what happened? The Lord, that chariot stopped that tornado. This the book of Nahum chapter. So who really in control of these different disasters that happen in the earth? Even if Esau using his technology, if the Lord don't want that shit to happen, guess what's gonna happen? It ain't gonna go through. And I believe Esau be trying to cook up different things in the Lord. You know, over the years, it's been certain times Esau try to cook up different storms and things of that nature, or earthquake or whatever, and try to make it worse than what it is, and the Lord, you know, intervene. But it's gonna come to a point where the Lord gonna intensify these things. They're gonna get stronger and worse, and we know that's what Esau want. You know, so I'm just saying it's probably instances where that happened, and Esau like, damn, what the fuck happened? We had to, you know, we did all the right protocols with our weather technology, and the storm just dissipated. And that could have been the Lord, you know, just toying with these devils. This is the book of Nahum chapter 1 and verse 3. It say, the Lord is slow to anger and great in power, and will not at all acquit the wicked. The Lord hath his way in the whirlwind, and in the storm, and in the clouds. And the clouds are the dust of his feet. And the scriptures also refer to the chariots as whirlwinds too, and that's in Isaiah 66 and 15. What a chariots are referenced as whirlwinds, you know. But the Lord also have his way in the real whirlwind. It was a count a few years back. Esau had like had chariots flying in the out of one of those hurricanes. You know, the chariots always be flying in them volcanoes. They'll go underwater. You know, just always present in the midst of disaster. When there's war going on and they got a live feed just like something like that, you gonna see a chariot if they just got it posted up on the city where the disaster struck. A chariot fly through, you know. Yeah, but the Lord have his way in the whirlwind, as you see that chariot stopped that tornado, made it break up, you know, because his presence was there, made the tornado to where it didn't even form, because it was a gigantic chariot right there that broke it up, you know. This the book of First Thessalonians chapter 4 and verse 17. It say, then they which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds, going into those in that fathership, that chariot, to meet the Lord in the air, and so shall we ever be with the Lord. Yeah, the elect gonna get beamed up, Lord, when I'm a part of that number, and we are part of that number. But the elect is here, and they gonna get beamed up, and they gonna get beamed up in the clouds. He make up the clouds his chariot, and we ain't gonna just be in the goddamn stratus cloud, a cumulus cloud, you know. You know, inside of a cloud is rain. You know, water, whole bunch of water, and when it gets so heavy to the point where it's too heavy, it start raining. You know, so those clouds that the scripture talk about are actual clouds, man. The chariots. You know, I mean, not actual clouds. They are the chariots of the Lord. They can disguise themselves as a cloud. This Acts chapter 1 and verse 9. It say, and when he had spoken these things while they beheld, he was taken up, and a cloud received him out of their sight. This is speaking about a chariot. He got beamed up. You know, it wasn't a cumulus. Them the only two clouds I can think of, a cumulus and a stratus cloud. This is more of them, but I can't think of the other ones. You know, it say, and whilst they looked steadfast toward heaven as he went up, behold, two men stood by them in white apparel, which we believed, which these were angels, not believe. These were two angels, you know, standing by in white apparel. It say, which also said, ye men of Galilee, why stand ye gazing up unto heaven? This same Yahushua, who the world ignorantly called Jesus, which is taken up from you unto heaven, shall come in like manner, as ye have seen him go unto heaven. Yeah, so the Lord gonna come back in like manner. The same way the Lord ascended, we gonna ascend. Lord willing, we're a part of that number. You know, the Lord finished up what he had to tell the men, his men, and he ascended up and went at the right hand of the Father. You know, but the same way the Lord left, that's the same way he gonna come back in that fathership. You know, traveling in the greatness of his strength. This the book of Revelation chapter 1 and verse 7. It say, behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him, even so amen. You know, so the Lord cometh with clouds, and every eye gonna see him. And he ain't talking about no actual clouds. The same thing they was trying to, do pop up, trying to stand in front of the, chariot. which I don't even know if they can see it, but he might could have seen it. You know, he was trying to stand in front of it. They probably tell him, look, stand right here to cover it up, you know, because usually it'd be a green screen and they just know how to point, and I don't know how they do this shit. But I went to on a field trip when I was in elementary to a newscaster room, you know. But maybe he could have seen it. He was probably trying to cover. He walked in front of it like he was trying to cover it up. But hey, man, you can't. You can try to hide this, Esau, but the Lord gonna show Himself more and more. You know, the eyes of the Lord are in every place, beholding the good and the evil. You know, the eyes of the Lord run to and fro throughout the earth, man, to show Himself strong. Hey, man, you can't stop, you know, the Lord's Air Force and Navy, because they, well, you can't stop the Lord's intergalactic, I don't feel like doing that shit today. You can't stop the Lord intergalactic, force, you know, because those vehicles can go out of space. They can do whatever they want. You know, they can go underwater. They indestructible. You know, they go underwater. They can go in the lava. They can go by the sun, in the sun. You know, Chiz be doing everything, man, all over the place. And Esau try to hide it, absorbing energy from the sun, which they power, you know. They got an unlimited power source anyway. We don't know what they was, you know. But it's different videos out on the chariots for those who be seeing it, like different clips now. So watching the sun, they humongous, gigantic chariots, you know, bigger than the earth, hovering up right above the sun, you know. And you can see it shooting off like it absorb energy from the sun and shoot off, you know. But, hey, man, the Lord showing Himself. And these people finna have to face reality soon, which they already facing reality. And that's why Esau developed the sixth military branch. I think Trump brought it out, you know, with his Space Force. And these devils, ultimately, they starting to come with their great wrath because they know that the Lord is here. The Lord is showing Himself, and the Lord showing that He is. You know, the Lord using the angels to do things to show that they are not with the current rulership of the earth, disrupting their plans, you know, doing different things to scare the shit out of them. Different accounts. When I first came in, I seen a video because I was all into all kind of different stuff, just about the chariots and stuff. How the chariots made the missiles count down over one of those silos, and right when it got the one, it stopped. You know, dude, like how he was the different. I think they were Air Force men. They was terrified. You know. Hey, but the Lord is getting ready to make moves on this nigga, man. And that's what the scripture was talking about. They gonna be amazed at the strangeness of our salvation, so far beyond all that they look for. Let me get that. And I'm gonna close out with that. That was Masala. I ain't been there in a minute. This the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5 and verse 1. It say, then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him, and made no account of their labor. And that's what we doing. The righteous man, right now, today, 2025. Yeah, ain't 2025. Yeah, it's 2025, I think. We ain't in 26 yet. You know, the righteous man standing in great boldness. And we letting these devils know their kingdom is falling. They see their kingdom falling. And everything we've been speaking about these last, couple years, going all the way back to Abba ultimately. Going back to the 60s, 50s or 60s. 70s when the One West really started blowing up and the Israelite movement started growing. That's the righteous man standing great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him. Now they facing their fears. Verse 2 is saying when they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear. And them seeing us rise up is troubling them. These Edomites are terrified, man. And I ain't talking about Joe Sixpack. He don't know what the fuck going on. We talking about the elites. They in fear. And Revelation back that up. Revelation say we're going to stand upon our feet. And these people going to be terrified, man. The Rothschild, the Rockefellers, the international banking families, they are terrified at Israelites coming back to their nationality. And they ain't scared of niggas who they paid off, these militant, They scared of those who ain't paid off, who can't be swayed, who ain't been bought, who ain't got 501c3s and all these different ties to the government and heavily infiltrated camps. They ain't worried about them, man. They terrified by those who they can't get to sell out. Who teaching 100% truth, which is over here at GMS, and those who follow the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, man. In the doctrine of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Because the apostles, they come with the doctrine of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. It's the Lord doctrine, man. But these people are terrified, man. It say when they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation so far beyond all that they look for. And they going to be amazed at the strangeness of our salvation, because the Lord going to come back in the chariots and beam us up. The same way he left, that's how he going to come back. And that's how we going to be delivered at a moment in the twinkling of an eye. Just how the Lord came and beamed up Elijah, the prophet. That's how the Lord gonna come back and beam us up, man. At a moment in the twinkling of an eye, we gonna be changed. Lord willing, we're a part of that number, and that's why we strive and fighting. And hey, man, we ain't all up in shambles because America is falling, man. Shit, we right in the middle of it. We feel it too, but at the end of the day, we gonna trust in the Lord. Ain't nothing else we can do. You can't prep your way out what's finna go down if you really know what's finna go down. But Lord willing, this was edifying. I want to end it giving all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Shakodash, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, Rule Web, and great example to his young brothers in the truth, and peace and blessing to the hopeful elect. Shalom, Kwam Yashala, and the Bible Ball. Shalom.